What is your American dream?
My American dream is just to be really happy and achieve whatever it is I've set out to achieve. I had a dream of coming to New York and I'm here now, and for me it's just achieving those dreams and having this sense of freedom and happiness that I did this.
My American dream is connecting with my family and my friends and just being a part of that and enjoying every moment as it comes.
This is my dream. I'm a happy woman in America, in New York. So, vive l'Amérique!
My American dream, personally, to continue doing what I'm doing for as long as I want to, as long as possible, in a way that I feel liberated and where I bring joy to other people.
My American dream, we just want to go out, keep that German work ethic, do as best as we can, contribute to society as much as possible and pass that on to our kids.
I'm living it. I'm very blessed to be doing what I do. I'm a singer. I have my own record. I have my music out. I feel very blessed to be here on the East River playing with this great band and living my dream.
Everyone has a right to the American dream. All right, it is Tuesday, October 29th, 2 days before our huge Halloween special. Remember last year? What a
what a party.
I don't know if it was some sort of combination of a train wreck and one of the greatest shows ever produced.
I don't know whether it's a dream or a nightmare, but I frequently wake up to, can you smell what the rock is cooking?
So, wait a second.
Yeah.
There's something wrong here.
What's
What?
wrong?
Go back to them a second. Now come back to me. Now go back to them. Now come back to me. I didn't get a memo today.
Oh.
I got no memo today.
Fall was your memo.
What is this? We're all reindeer for Santa Claus? What's going on?
Listen, tomorrow it's mustard yellow, so get it together.
Please include me on the memos in the future.
Mustard yellow.
Mustard yellow.
I don't have anything
because you both have gold watch, red shirt.
That's true.
That's true. I have silver watch. Black suit. I mean, I'm completely opposite.
And gold necklaces.
Listen.
I still
And you both have gold
trees.
necklaces. And I'm going, no necklace.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Beyonce always stands out of Michelle and Kelly, okay?
Thank
Is
you.
this what we do like on Michelle
there we
and
go.
Kelly?
This is what we do.
This is what we're here for, y'all.
There's a solo.
All right, let's go say hello to Jessica Levy, Joel Reed says, squad up, my loves. Tamika Nelson, how are you? Rich Kid C. Jacobs.
I know today, Brad.
Nikisha Jacobs,
Yes.
how are you? Suzanne Johnson, Lolitha Platt, Elizabeth Francis, what's up? Squad up.
Yeah.
Why am I saying what's up?
I don't know.
I'm already screwing up my own words.
Have you watched the show before? We say squad up
Am
here.
I part of this show
Yeah,
that
do
I
you
should
know?
know? Say,
Yeah, I feel
right?
like you should.
Isn't that funny? Because I always correct people. I say, we don't say what's up. We don't say hello. We say squad up.
Yeah.
And here I am saying what's up.
And I think you even invented the squad up.
I may have.
So.
And Angela Barrett at Sandra Salinas, I see you watching. I haven't seen her say anything. She's in the closet, maybe further down in the comments, but I see her. LaToya, his forever Peterson. Aw, that's so nice.
Like yours forever, you think?
No, but she has a his. LaToya has a Mr.
I'm really shocked you did not read that as LaToya mine forever, Peterson.
No, LaToya, his forever Peterson.
Right.
Pitterson.
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 Pitterson. She has a man.
She does.
She has a man.
She has a man, and she's proud of it.
That's right. My Duke squad up. And Sandra Salinas finally saying, hello, Brad Bernstein. You awesome sauce. Oh, boy. That could have been comment of the day right there, and I just took it right from you.
You took it right from under my nose.
And by the way, at the end of the show, we will be doing comments of the day. If anybody sees any sort of pattern to our comments of the day, it's always who says the most amazing thing about Brad Bernstein or the funniest thing. Sometimes who says amazing things about Belgium Kim and Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias.
Sometimes.
Right.
But those first two are the big
generally those are the two biggest ones, right?
Yeah.
It's like who's going to kiss the tookus a little bit? Say like really something nice about me?
Right, exactly.
Right?
Right. Who's going to really butter Brad
Butter
up?
me up.
Right.
Who's going to butter up the bread?
Yeah.
What kind of butter?
Any butter you want. It's very sweet.
Ooh.
I like very sweet butter.
What's that? Apple butter? Ooh, that sounds good.
Salt Bay butter.
Salt Bay
Right,
butter.
before anyone else.
Ooh.
Salt Bay. I'm an Irish
Who's trying to butter Brad up?
I don't know.
It's not hump day, guys. It is not hump day.
That's right. And by the way, on hump day, I don't need any butter.
Whoa.
We're ready to go.
He's just slippery as can be.
I guess so. I don't know what that even means. What does that even mean?
Where have we gone with this metaphor? Does anyone know what we're talking about anymore? Because I'm not sure that I do.
Cordella Douglas, how are you? I said Rich Kid C. Mia Montauk, why am I sweating to death right now?
Yeah, you got all red
I'm a
and
little
stuff.
red now. That doesn't usually happen.
No, it does not.
How'd you make yourself blush?
I don't know. You guys didn't even say anything,
Right, we were talking about butter and Brad was like matched
Too sexy
us.
for my shirt.
Bakari, Pobby, what's going on? Squad up. Deion Watson, Su Wang. Oh boy, this is going to be a hard one. This is a hard one. I'm going to wipe my... Aya Mumtaz Kadar Dahir.
Wow. Good
Squad
job.
up.
nice.
I just needed
Squad
a
up.
second. Tamika Nelson to Forbes. Sandra Thompson, I see. Christopher Fulton says, hello, everybody. Christopher, if you've ever been listening to this show, it's squad up.
Squad up.
Come on, don't ever make that mistake. Julian saying hello. Nana Covey has a question. And we're gonna. By the way, we're gonna have a little different show today on how we answer the questions.
Oh,
we're gonna get to
yeah.
that in a minute. But let me say hello on YouTube to Max Santos, Keem, Simone Brown, your father. I don't know whose father it is, but somebody's
Just
father
yours.
saying hello. Ali Amina, Miles 7, Asata Conte, Kelly Desire. A lot of people saying hello on YouTube. We like to say on Bradshaw Live, squad up. Simone Brown, Ren Stew, Kamola G. Back it up, Ricky, saying good evening, everybody. Markel Edwards says he's heading home, wherever home may be. We don't know. Masudur Rahman says, breaking news, the I-601s have changed to 6.5 to 8.5 months.
Oh.
That ain't breaking news. They're almost close to a year now. I've
Wow.
seen. Yeah. Jonathan.
Yeah, that's me.
Squad up, Jonathan. Annie.
Annie.
That's not you.
That's
No.
not.
Just saying hi, family.
Ooh,
Donald
that would've been a
Horton.
good- that would've
Is
been
that
a good
is that
costume.
Well, you wonder why I keep
Annie.
looking. You wonder why I keep looking at you? Because Mitt Romney came out that said he had a fake name.
Fake Twitter.
That's fake Twitter name.
Yeah.
Something like Dr. Doolittle. I forgot what it
Yeah,
was. It was like
yes.
something like Dr. Doolittle
I
or something.
love Mitt Romney's fake Twitter.
So
What?
Mitt Romney had
Yeah.
and he was basically following real Mitt Romney and like saying nice things about Mitt Romney. So now I'm thinking that Belgium Kim has a fake name that she has kind of been like maybe shading me a little bit. I don't know.
You think so?
Yes.
Brad, that would be. My computer is right next to you for the
but
entire
you're always typing.
show.
You're always typing. I don't know.
That's true.
I don't know what you're typing.
Do you think she's the 2 thumbs down?
I don't know.
Ooh, how can I be both thumbs down?
I don't
got
know.
2 thumbs.
You have 2 thumbs. That is very true. Rudra Nupane. And the only
man is full of
reason
hater.
is we have a joke that every day
Yeah.
we can get hundreds of thumbs up on YouTube. There's always 2 people who give us a thumbs down.
That's true. I'd like to offer my blue thumbs up as ocular proof that it's not me.
Baby voice grandson has a question. Can we give an update on the health insurance policy that's going to go into effect November 3rd? She has an interview November 21st. I will give an update if you would like. Absolutely. Annie finally saying squad up. Tracy Lacey and Sam Sarah saying hey squad. Nicole Walters also saying hey squad. And Belgium Kim and Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias, why don't you tell everybody what they need to do while I get ready for some schmoozing with Brad.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The very first thing that we need the squad to do is make sure that you guys are joining the Brad Show Live Brad Squad, because those are the only people who are going to get their questions definitely guaranteed answers every single day. And with that new format that Brad was just talking about, you might be getting your answers a little earlier than expected. So make sure to join the Brad Show Live Brad Squad right now. The link is in the comments. While you're in the comments and looking at those bad boys, how about you add your own 2 cents in there, because we want to know everything that you're thinking and feeling about this show and everything that we're talking about, particularly while we're schmoozing. So please let us know, and Jonathan and I will keep interacting with you. Brad's wondering what I'm doing and all that typing. Most of the time, I'm typing to you wonderful people, so make sure that you are engaging with us the entire time. And of course, Brad Squad, if you're listening to the sound of my voice, why haven't you liked the page and hit that bell? I need y'all to get notifications every single time we go live. Today, we got pretty close to 5:30, you guys, and I expect it to be a new trend. So make sure that you've got that little bell on so that you know exactly when we go live and you don't miss a second of your very favorite show. And make sure, of course, one of the last things that you need to do on Facebook is make sure to share the show. There's a ton of ways, and we're going to tell you a little bit more about some of them coming up, but for right now, share it onto your own timeline and into friends' timelines and into groups that you're a member of, so people know where to go. And on YouTube, what do you do, Yo-Yo?
All right, on YouTube, first thing you guys are gonna do is hit that red button that says subscribe. All right, subscribe, and also hit the bell that's next to it. Like Kim said, we usually start at like 5:55 it was going to. But today we started at 5:40. You wouldn't have known that unless you hit that bell. So don't miss your chance to put in your questions in the comment section very early, because we have a new format that we're going to do to try and get to more questions and more social media questions earlier. So you have to make sure that you are on time. All right, so make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, put your comments in the section. Of course, we want you guys to share. All you have to do is click that little arrow that says share, copy the link, and send it to a text message blast. Make a group. I say this all the time. Make a group of friends and family all over the world. This helps everybody and anybody all over the world. Internationally, you can watch YouTube, you can watch this show. So copy that link, send it to them, and also share it straight to your social media platforms. And last but not least, we don't want any down thumbs. We want all up thumbs, all right? So please hit that thumbs up. Make sure that gray thumb turns blue. Make us happy. It just makes us smile, all right? Now, this is what you guys have been waiting for. This is where we schmooze with Brad.
That's right, where I have, generally speaking, the top several hundred stories of the day. Somehow, some way, they've been pared down to only the top 30 stories of the day.
Woo!
Yes.
Is this a victory?
It is a victory for Brad Bernstein.
Yeah, it is.
It is a victory for everybody.
Yeah, it is.
So I only have the top 30 stories here. I don't have to pare through them and see.
Right.
We can go plow through them instead of paring through them. How was that?
Let the plowing commence.
Yes. So meanwhile, the big news on the Trump impeachment story today is Lieutenant Colonel Alexander S. Vindman. He is an Army colonel. He was also stationed in the White House working for the National Security Office. He's a decorated war veteran from Iraq. He testified today that he overheard the conversation between President Trump and the president of the Ukraine, President Zelensky. Now, Vindman was born in the Ukraine, and he came to the United States when he was 3 years old. Now, many of conservative Republicans and even some Fox commentators are saying he is now a spy because he was planted by the Ukraine as a 3-year-old baby, put here into the United States, grew up in the United States, was always controlled by the Ukraine, went to war for the United States, and came back for his one purpose of spying on Donald Trump. That's what they claim. Because Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman said in his opening statement, "I do not think it was proper to demand that a foreign government investigate a United States citizen, and I was worried about the implications for the U.S. government's support of Ukraine. I realized that if Ukraine pursued an investigation into the Bidens and Burisma, it would likely be interpreted as a partisan play, which would undoubtedly result in Ukraine losing the bipartisan support it has thus far maintained," which is why we don't allow foreigners to get involved in national elections. Now, Colonel Vindman added, this would all undermine U.S. national security. He also testified that he confronted Gordon Sondland. He's the United States ambassador to the European Union. Now, Gordon Sondland was a political appointee. He's a billionaire, just Trump's friend. He appointed him to the ambassador to the European Union. As far as I'm aware, last time I checked the map, Ukraine is not part of the European Union.
Right.
But Sondland was put in charge of the back channel with Giuliani to try to get some dirt on Biden. Now, he testified that the day Sondland spoke in a White House meeting with Ukrainian officials about Ukraine delivering specific investigations in order to secure the meeting with the president. In an attempt to keep the positive U.S.-Ukraine relationships and the direction of his superiors, including John Bolton, who we're still waiting to hear from. He is going to also ask the court for a declaratory judgment on whether or not he should be able to testify or not. He was the national security advisor that Trump fired. He got into a fight with Trump because Trump sidelined him on the Ukrainian investigation. It'll be very interesting, I'm on a side note, what Bolton has to say, because Bolton can't stand Trump.
Right.
He didn't like what Trump was doing. But if Bolton testifies against Trump, he's finished in the Republican Party. So we'll see what he has to say. But meanwhile, in an attempt to keep the positive U.S.-Ukraine relationship and at the direction of his superiors at the National Security Council, including John Bolton, who I was just talking about,
Right.
Colonel Vindman drafted a memorandum in mid-August that sought to restart security aid that was being withheld from Ukraine. Trump refused to sign it.
Of course.
Now, the colonel's account echoed the testimony of Fiona Hill, one of his superiors, who has previously testified behind closed doors that she and Mr. Bolton were angered by efforts to politicize the interactions with Ukraine. Now, in a letter to House Democrats yesterday, Speaker Nancy Pelosi announced that the House is also now going to take their first formal vote to affirm the impeachment investigation. The impeachment investigation is going to be run through, I believe, the Intelligence Committee. They want to get the guy Jordan, who was a big pain in the neck for the Democrats.
Jim Jordan,
Jim Jordan and Lee Zemmel. I think his last name is Zemmel or Ziskin, something with a Z.
Yeah.
He's a congressman from New York. They've been very big pro-Trump supporters. They're going to take the investigation out of that committee, put it in a different committee. Both Republicans and Democrats will publicly be able to question each witness who has already come and testified behind closed doors for 45 minutes each. So each witness is going to get an hour and a half. The reason why they did first closed door and now public is they want witnesses to tell the truth. So they come and tell it privately. They don't know what other people say. And now they have to come back and repeat themselves. That is the best way to get people to tell the truth and not perjure themselves. Because you start perjuring yourself once you start seeing what other people say, and everyone starts agreeing what they're going to say ahead of time. It was kind of like the situation when I was in high school, and this had nothing to do with me, okay? But I remember a situation where all my friends got in trouble, and the principal called them all into the office, and they all had to sit in separate rooms, and the principal went from room to room to room and said, okay, who did it? And nobody knew what anybody else said, so everybody was scared to lie or not tell the truth. This is what's happening here.
100%.
It's basically Principal Glenn all over again from high school.
You sure it wasn't you?
It was not me. I was not in those rooms. I just heard. Meanwhile, as part of the China talks for the trade negotiations, one of President Donald Trump's top trade advisors on China is refusing to say whether Trump brought up China possibly also investigating Joe Biden and his son during trade negotiations with Beijing. Asked the question repeatedly by CNN's Jim Sciutto last week, Peter Navarro, who's one of the architects of Trump's hardline policy against China, we're in a trade war with China right now, said, "You don't have the right to know what happens behind closed doors in the administration."
Wow.
We have video.
I'm asking you a direct question. Did you bring up investigating the Bidens as part of the negotiation?
Now instead
My
he
judgment. Okay.
Why not?
You're asking me what happens in the White House behind closed doors.
now instead he chose to attack the media.
Right.
He said the problem that I've seen over the last 3 years in Washington is that there are too many stories reported based on anonymous sources. That didn't answer the question. We weren't asking whether or not the media is a problem in the United States. They was asked a very simple question. Did President Trump, in closed door, ask China to investigate the Bidens? And if they said yes, perhaps Trump would have given them more favorable trade status. Basically, trading U.S. foreign policy for political gain, which is why this whole entire thing is unconstitutional.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, number 6. And on October 3rd,
Right.
because this is important, Trump on camera urged Beijing to look into Joe Biden over his false belief that the former vice president somehow took billions of dollars out of the country, saying, quote, "China should start an investigation into the Bidens because what happened in China is just about as bad as what happened with the Ukraine." Let's watch that.
Likewise, China should start an investigation into the Bidens.
So that is the whole crux of this entire thing.
Right.
You have a president who is negotiating U.S. foreign policy in the national interest, but is trading his own personal interest, his re-election to 2020, for more favorable negotiating status for Ukraine and China. So for example, Jonathan,
Yes.
if I was to say to you, Jonathan, give me some dirt on Belgium Kim, what's going on in her personal life right now. Okay, and if you do, I know your contract is up and you got to renegotiate it. I'll be more favorable to your contract renegotiating for Bradshaw Live for next year.
I'm very interested in hearing this answer.
Now, Yo-Yo, what is the dirt that you would like to give me for a more favorable contract?
Ooh.
That's closed doors.
It's closed
Yes,
doors.
right. That's closed doors. This is all fake news media stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how Trump would.
That's how it goes down.
Yeah.
Well, my loyalty would be to Kim.
Okay.
I wouldn't say nothing.
Good, but
That's right.
that's
He
basically it.
But
That's
right.
basically
But isn't that
it.
illegal?
Of course. Well, not only is it illegal, it's unconstitutional.
Right.
Because you have an oath of office. Your oath that you're taking is to the Constitution
Right.
of the United States. If you remember, okay, it has nothing to do with breaking a penal code. Okay, Donald Trump, if you remember, had the most people ever at his inauguration.
Right.
What do you do at inauguration? You put your hand on the Bible and you take an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. And when you don't uphold the oath of the Constitution of the United States of America, and you put your personal gain ahead of the Constitution of the United States, you have broken your oath that you took when you got sworn into that office. That is a crime against the Constitution, and you should be removed from office.
Right.
It's the bottom line.
Absolutely.
If you had to say it in 2 sentences.
I just don't understand why we don't have enough information now.
Right.
Well, we're going to have open door. We're going to have open door, and we're going to hear it all in a few weeks. Meanwhile, this is good news for El Salvador. The Trump administration has reached an agreement with El Salvador to extend work permits for 250,000 Salvadoran immigrants under the Temporary Protected Status Program for 1 more year. So under the agreement announced Monday, work permits would be extended for El Salvadorans who would have been taken off of TPS, and now it's going to be extended through January 2021. USCIS Director Ken Cuccinelli stressed in a tweet Monday that while work permits would be extended for a year amid ongoing litigation, it was not an extension of the TPS program itself. I don't know what else you would call it, but they like to say politically it's not, but that's exactly what it is.
Yep.
The announcement came amid several agreements unveiled by the Trump administration in recent weeks to receive buy-in from Central American countries in stemming the flow of migrants heading toward the United States. So basically, in return for not deporting 250,000 people, El Salvador and some of the other Central American countries have agreed to try to police their borders a little better. This is good news for Tyler Perry fans.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yes. Weeks after the Tyler Perry Studios, which we talked about the other day, the awe-inspiring opening, it has now been reported that the studio is going to host the 5th Democratic presidential debate next month.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
According to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, the studio was handpicked to be the venue on November 20th when the Democratic candidates are going to debate key policies. Now, the 4th Democratic debate took place on Tuesday night with the candidates discussing topics dealing with abortion, guns, and the Trump impeachment. From Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams also confirmed the news in a tweet. She said, Tyler Perry Studios is a model for Georgia's vibrant film industry, an engaged corporate citizen, and an exceptional location for our #Dem debate. Looking forward to welcoming the candidates to Georgia.
Nice.
And for what was already known, Jonathan and Belgium can, according to a new YouGov Victims Memorial Foundation survey of more than 2,000 Americans 16 years and older, the biggest threat to world peace is who? Of a poll of Americans. None other.
Any human in the world.
None other.
Don't say, if you say.
None other than Julian the TriCaster. No, it's not Julian the TriCaster guy. It is
Trump.
Donald Trump.
Oh my God.
The survey found that Americans believe that the biggest threat to world peace is Donald Trump, with
That is
27%
crazy.
saying he was the biggest threat, followed by Kim Jong-un coming in second at 22%, while Vladimir Putin and China's Xi Jinping came in at 15% and 13% each. Now, 50% of millennials and 51% of Generation Z have a somewhat very unfavorable view of capitalism as well, an increase of 8 and 6 percentage points from last year. What's most interesting is that most of them believe in socialism, which is why you find Bernie Sanders' biggest supporters for this old man here are young millennials.
Yeah, that's not that surprising.
Yes. Not surprising at all.
Yeah, I would say a lot of my friends are willing to vote
Socialists.
Yeah.
Well, is that because that they feel like discouraged that they're every generation, at least in American lore. Maybe it wasn't true, but the lore, meaning that your idea growing up is that the children are going to live better lives than their parents. And I believe that this generation
is not
feeling that, and which is why that they're leaning more socialist than capitalist.
I mean, you've got an increased wealth gap, you've got student loans that are at an all-time high. So yeah, I think that it forces people to kind of look in other directions.
Yeah, I think the student loans is the killer.
Yeah, absolutely.
The student loans is absolutely the
when
killer.
You start your life
hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt.
What are you supposed to do with that? What are you supposed to do?
Well, I'm going to make you smile right now.
Please.
Are you paying my student loans?
I'm not going to pay your student loans, but NASA took a picture of the sun recently, and it found something like a jack-o'-lantern face on the sun. This is a real picture of the sun. We have a picture of it. It's not my face. Here's the picture of the sun. There it is. That is a real picture of the sun taken by NASA. The haunting image was first captured, actually, in 2014. So it wasn't recently. By the Solar Dynamics Observatory. The active regions in this image appear brighter because those are the areas that emit more light and energy. And we just thought we would post that picture as a prelude to our Halloween bash coming up in 2 days.
We're going to be coming at you guys with some Halloween stories this week.
Meanwhile, in creepy doll news, because we always have to have some creepy doll news come around Halloween. A Minnesota museum is getting visitors into the Halloween spirit in what's probably the spookiest way possible. Creepy doll competition.
Oh, God.
The History Center of Olmsted County, located in Rochester, Minnesota, launched the competition on October 16th. The premise is simple. Each day between October 16th and October 24th, a photo of a new creepy doll is going to be posted on their Facebook page. Participants vote by liking the photos of the dolls that they find the creepiest. And there are a total of 9 very, very creepy dolls.
Oh.
That's a
Yeah,
creepy
that one
doll.
is creepy.
Would you like want to be like in a dark room with that doll sitting on a chair staring at you while you're trying to sleep?
Oh,
Straight
hell
Annabelle
no.
style?
Yeah.
Hell no.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. What?
They are scary. Now the curator thinks he knows what makes them so creepy. He thinks it's in the eyes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
It's
all
in the
that.
eyes. They're
Ooh.
very lifelike, and it kind of gives you that creepy feel that something's watching you.
Uh-huh.
Because they're very, that's very creepy.
I find all dolls
Yeah.
creepy. I don't know that I've seen, except for like a Barbie, I don't know that I've seen a non-creepy doll.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
My mom does Christmas dolls, like those big Christmas like Santas,
My
and they're all
family ain't
ornate.
never did no dolls, and I want to keep it that way.
I wasn't about it when I was a kid. She scared the crap out of me.
Now, this is not a movie coming your way, Belgium Kim and Jonathan Yo-Yo Elliott. This
Okay.
is real life.
Oh, gosh.
Now, apparently, a hitman hired a hitman.
Yeah.
To hire a hitman,
Yeah.
who hired a hitman
Yeah.
to hire a hitman to tell the police. 5 different hitmen hired each other to kill each other.
Right.
All of them got arrested.
Of course
What?
they did.
Yes, 5 hitmen. They've all been jailed. This is crazy.
This is
for
insane.
attempted murder, and to each one of them avoided carrying out the contract on themselves for somebody else so they can make a profit. Now, the Chinese businessman Tan Hu-hee, he was looking for a hitman to take out a competitor, Wei Mu, and was willing to pay $280,000 to get the job done. The hitman that Yu-hee hired decided to offer the job to another hitman for half the price. So for hitman number 1 was paid $280. Hitman number 1 says, you know what? I ain't gonna kill this guy. I'll pay hitman number 2 $140.
Right.
You take out the guy.
Wow.
Now the second hitman then subcontracted out to a third hitman, who then subcontracted out to a fourth hitman, who then gave the job to a fifth hitman. By the time the fifth hitman was hired, he was given $11 and a free Happy Meal. Okay? However, Hitman 5 was so incensed
Right.
by that he was getting ripped off.
Well, he's not wrong.
He was so
if you're gonna
incensed
kill
that
a
he was
human,
getting
you better
ripped
get
off and they were
paid
giving
for
him
it.
nothing. This fifth man was getting nothing. He went right to the police, who eventually found out all about the plot, according to the Beijing News. Now, the businessman and all these hapless assassins were all convicted of attempted murder by the court in Guangxi following a trial that lasted more than 3 years. The original dispute occurred in 2013 when we decided to sue real estate developer Tan. Now, he was worried he would lose the lengthy court battle, and he felt the only option was to
Wow.
take out his competitor. Yu-hee, who hired the original hitman, was jailed for 5 years, while Z, the first hitman, was sentenced to 3 years. Hitman 2 and 3 were sentenced to 3 years and 3 months. Hitman number 4 was sentenced to 3 years. Hitman number 5 was sentenced to 2 years and 7 months. I thought in China they throw the book at you. That's nothing.
Right.
You would get a lot more jail time in America than China.
I know, to be a hitman?
Yeah, I
Like,
would think that in China, like if you break the law, like you go to jail forever, right?
Right, you agreed to kill another human and you only have to go to jail
So
for 2.5
years? That doesn't make any sense.
No, it does
whatsoever.
not.
All right, Belgium Kim, Jonathan Yo-Yo Elliott, why don't you tell everybody what they need to do while I get ready to start answering some immigration questions.
All right, everybody, this is what you've actually been waiting for. This is where you make a difference. All right, we're starting off, you can see right now, at 138 views on Facebook. I want you guys to do your best to start your watch parties right now. When you start your watch parties, this goes out to everybody, all of your friends list. Everybody that's on your notification or your friends list, it sends them a notification. So in order to start a watch party, all you have to do is click share. Start a watch party. A couple options down under it'll say host a watch party, and then you'll see how many friends you have online. Start it right now. Watch the numbers go up, and literally it's all because of you. So what else?
I want to tell somebody or everybody about our new format while you're starting your watch party. Instead of taking 14, 16, 18 calls at one time and then going to social media check-in to answer your questions that you left an hour earlier, we're going to go back and forth. We're going to try to answer your social media questions as you are asking them in our comments, while I am also answering your questions live on the air. We're going to go calls. We're going to do social media, calls, social media, back and forth. We're going to try to answer as many questions in real time as we can. Back to you, Yo-Yo.
I just saw Tamika Nelson start a watch party because she is my friend on here. So I need to see more people start your watch parties. I need to get more notifications. And if we're not friends, if you're not friends with any of us on Facebook, I need you guys to confirm in the comment section and say, I started my watch party.
Did it.
And when they do that, I want all of the Brad Squad to hit like on their little comment because we got to show them love as well. It's all because of you. This is literally because of you guys. You guys are the one, if the power is in your hands, okay? So start your watch party. Again, how you start it, click share. Right under it, a couple options down, it says start a watch party and host it. This is all yours. Talk to them in the comment section and also bring them back to the main page as well. What are we gonna do on YouTube?
On YouTube, make sure that you guys are copying that link and sending it to all of your friends and family. I don't care, you know how to share a YouTube link, family. You've been doing it forever. Every time you see some weird cat video or a cool music video or an awesome trailer, you send them a YouTube link. That's all we're asking you to do to all of your friends and family, and you can send it to them however. You can email it to them if you want to be slightly old school. You can WhatsApp, Viber, you can even Facebook message them, even if it's the YouTube link. I don't even care, family. But if you're watching on Facebook, make sure that you're starting those watch parties right now because you're getting all of the answers to your immigration questions because you are getting answers to your immigration question.
All right, so first thing I want to talk about before we get into our telephone calls, we've already talked about our new format, but I already saw a question in social media where people wanted me to talk about this health insurance thing that's popping up for November 3rd. First of all, it's only popping up for people who are processing at a U.S. Embassy abroad. This does not apply to people who are adjusting their status here. And the way that I have read the rule, we don't know how it's going to be enforced yet. We have no idea how it's going to be enforced yet. But the way that I have read the rule is that unless you are an immediate relative child, that means you are a child under the age of 21 being sponsored by a parent or a step-parent, or you are a parent of a United States citizen, if you are under the age of 18, this does not apply to you. So if you are being sponsored by your parent under 21 and you're a U.S. citizen or your step-parent, or you are a parent of a United States citizen, or you are a spouse of a United States citizen, this would apply to everybody else. And what they are saying is that you have to show that you have health insurance within 30 days of entering America, or that you have money in the bank to pay for all reasonably, this is the key word because I want to pull it up on my phone, reasonably foreseeable medical costs. So how I read that, and we're going to have to see how it all pans out. We don't know how they're going to interpret this. But how I read that is if you're under 18, don't worry about it. If you're a parent of a U.S. citizen, you don't have to worry about it. And if you're healthy, you don't have to worry about it. Because even if you don't have health insurance, what is your reasonably foreseeable medical costs if you're a healthy person? You have none because you're a healthy person. There are no medical costs. You don't need to go to the doctor for years. So the only thing that I see is that if you are somebody that falls outside of parent of U.S. citizen, child of U.S. citizen, and you have some sort of sickness or illness or ongoing medical problem or a procedure that's going to be required and the government knows about it, you're going to either need to show you have money in the bank to pay for it or medical insurance within 30 days of coming to the United States. That's how I read it now. We're going to have to see, we will have to see how immigration applies it, or actually the U.S. Embassy applies it. Let's go to Veen in Hollis, New York. Veen.
Hello?
Hi, Veen. How are you?
Hi. Oh, it's Vinny. Hi, dear. I got a question.
Yes.
I was married in 2017 to my husband, March. And 5 months after we broke up, he saw me with my ex talking, and he blocked me, and he didn't get in contact with me.
Wait. So you were with your husband, And then he saw you with the ex. So what, you were like, had like a little side thing with the ex? Is that what happened?
Okay, I was cheating.
Okay.
But I tried to work it out with
Right.
him, my husband, and he left me. So
Right.
in
Okay.
2018, we started working up because my ex started hitting me. I was in an abusive relationship.
Ay, ay, ay.
And my husband and I started living January 2019. In March, he filed my paper. Our initial interview was 17th of October. When we went there, they grilled us almost 45 minutes. They gave us about 40 questions, which we nailed, like kids. We had kids in the previous marriage. We have date of birth, everything we nailed, except I forgot our house color. And they found out I was cheating. But my husband told him he knew about it. He forgave me, and we moved on. My thing is, they gave us a white paper with 120 days. They're going to contact me. My question is, are they looking at a Stokes interview?
Yeah, absolutely. They're absolutely looking at a Stokes interview. And they may even do an investigation to see if you're living there or ask the neighbors if you're living there with your spouse. They are questioning everything about this relationship at this point. So what I would suggest that you do, you're in Queens, I'm in Manhattan, is come make an appointment to come see me. So hold on one second. Let's go to Derek in Baltimore, Maryland. Derek.
Hello. Yes. Good evening. If someone is married to an immigrant being a U.S. citizen and never filed a petition, and coming from a student visa, how long is their stay?
What do you mean? If someone's married to an immigrant and never filed a petition and they're on a student visa, how long can they stay? Is that your question? They can stay as long as they're in valid student visa status because the spouse hasn't done anything for them.
What I mean, sir, is they graduated already.
Okay, so if you
got married.
you're married now. Okay, so you can stay as long as you're in valid student visa status. Once your spouse files for you, whether you're in status or out of status, you're now legal back as a pending adjustment. But until your spouse files for you, you got nothing unless you're in student visa status.
Okay, if you graduate and finish student visa status, then
you're out of
just
status,
basically just
right? Unless you have optional practical training. I don't know what you have.
Okay.
But you're asking me a strange question. I've never heard that question before. The fact that you are married to a U.S. citizen and that U.S. citizen does nothing for you doesn't give you any legal status to be here until that U.S. citizen files something for you. That's the concept.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. That made no sense to me. Let's go to Giuliani in San Jose, California. Giuliani.
Hey, Brad.
How are you?
Sir? Good. I've been following you for a few years, man, and thanks for everything you do for everybody out here.
Appreciate it.
And
Thanks.
you are an immigration guru. Just want to let you know that I learned a lot from you.
Thank you.
So I'm in a position myself to ask you a question personally, if I may ask you.
Go ahead.
Question is regards to my GC. I have a case, battery causing serious bodily injury in California, about 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Your GC meaning your green card, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Do you have a green card right now?
Yes, I do.
Okay. When did you get your green card?
2007.
Okay. And were you living in the United States before 2007, or you came with your immigrant visa?
I came here on a legal visa 2000.
2000.
On a visitor visa.
Okay. And now tell me about this arrest in 2010.
2009 was arrest. Conviction was 2010. Arrest was regards. It was a long story short. It was a fight, and
With
I
who?
got convicted for this penal code. Spent 5.5 months.
Who did
with
you
a
have a
3 years
fight
probation.
with? Who did you have a fight with?
It was a bar fight.
Okay, fine. All right. Is that your only arrest ever?
That was the arrest. I had another arrest 3 years ago, but the case got dismissed.
Okay. So your only conviction is this bar fight that you had, and
Yes.
you did 5.5 months in jail, 3 years
Yes.
probation. That happened 9 years after
2009.
years after you entered America, and 2 years after you got your green card. Correct?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And you were sentenced to 5.5 months in jail. You weren't sentenced to 3 years and they let you out after 5 months. It was 5 months, correct?
Definitely.
Okay. So
Definitely.
based on what you're telling me, that is a crime of moral turpitude. A crime of moral turpitude is a crime of violence in which you were sentenced and spent less than 1 year in jail. If you were sentenced or spent more than 1 year in jail, it would be an aggravated felony. So that's step one. We know it's a crime of moral turpitude. Step two is that a crime of moral turpitude that happens 5 years after your initial entry into the United States and after you got a green card is not a deportable offense. Two crimes of moral turpitude are, one's not. You made an entry in 2000, legal. You got your green card in 2007. You have this assault in 2009, which is a crime of moral turpitude. It happened more than 5 years after you entered the United States of America. They cannot deport you on that one conviction. If you were to travel and go home and come back, that would make you inadmissible. Different laws when you come into the country versus here. So as long as you don't have a second conviction, you can renew your green card. As a matter of fact, assuming your probation is up and you have 5 years good moral character now, 5 years from the end of your probation, I would suggest you file your citizenship because you would be eligible for it.
One last question. So when does the clock start from a CAMT? When I come to U.S. or after a green card? When do they count the clock?
The clock starts for the 5 years from your last legal entry into America, assuming you have a green card. So if you came, for example, on a visitor's visa in 2000, that was your last legal entry into America. You adjusted in 2007. You got this assault in 2009. They go from 2000 to 2009. It's more than 5 years.
I see. So I'm okay to go apply for renewal of citizenship. They will not.
Based on what you're telling me, yes. But because you have a serious arrest and conviction, I would like to look at all this paperwork first before you go ahead. Let's make sure that we're all talking about the same thing.
Definitely, Mr. Brad. I will be calling your staff and make an appointment with you.
Hold on one second.
Thank you, Mr. Brad.
You're
God
welcome.
bless you, sir.
Okay. All right. We have Beyonce in Brooklyn. Is this the real Beyonce or hashtag Beyonce? Fake Beyonce. Not real Beyonce. Maybe she's real Beyonce, but it could be. There are other people named Beyonce, but not the Beyonce that we're thinking about.
You never know.
We never know. But meanwhile, this Beyonce is busy performing on stage right now and obviously cannot come to the phone. Let's put her on hold. Let's go to John in Brooklyn. John. Is this the real John?
Hi.
Hi, John.
Yes.
There's a lot of real Johns.
Hi, sir. Good evening.
Good. What's going on?
I just want to ask her about, because I was married for 2 years and 4 months already.
Yes.
But my wife never helped me. So last year, my paper is supposed to be ready for filing, but my lawyer wants to call us to talk to both of us, But when I told my
do you
wife,
and your spouse live together?
No, we just leave like 4 or 5.
Sounds like a dead marriage to me. Why does she want to help you? What's going on?
There are changes. I don't know what's her reason, but yeah, she decided to divorce.
Okay,
so until now,
your wife filed for you.
not-
1 second, let me get this straight. Your wife filed for you. You have an interview coming up, and she divorced you. Is that basically what happened?
I mean, no, there's no adjustment of
Nothing was
status
ever
happened.
filed.
Yes.
Okay,
because
so
when
basically, so what I understand then, let me just make sure I got the gist of this. Where are you from, by the way, John? Are you Filipino?
Yes.
I'm so good at this, right? I know everybody's accent. All right, so you're from the Philippines, John. When did you come to the United States?
2016.
Okay, so you came on what type of visa?
J1.
On a J1. Do you have a 2-year home residence requirement?
No.
No. Okay. And then you married a U.S. citizen. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. But this wife never filed for you.
Yes.
So in essence, what you are is somebody who just overstayed their visa. You got married to a U.S. citizen. You divorced. You never filed anything. You got to find a way to get a green card. What is your lawyer? What is your lawyer calling your wife in to have a discussion about what? She divorced you. What is this discussion supposed to be about?
She just want to clarify things.
What kind of?
But
What do they?
just-
They want to clarify. Want to clarify what? That she's divorced you.
Sorry,
That
because he
she
just
doesn't-
he just want to talk to us. That's why.
Wait, she wants to be your marriage counselor?
No, it's just my lawyer though.
But it doesn't make.
So
I
now
don't.
when-
Your wife is. Your wife divorced
Okay, my
you.
wife-
1 second. Your wife
my
is
wife
now. Your wife is now your ex-wife. She divorced you. She
No.
can't help you. There's nothing to clarify. There's nothing to talk about unless your lawyer wants to be a marriage counselor and try to get you back together. Or is she thinking about filing a VAWA case? Did your wife abuse you?
Kind of. I don't know if it's an abuse because
Why
all my
don't you know if
banks
it's
are-
abuse?
well,
You either know you're
we-
abused or not.
we open a bank, we put money there, and then, for our future.
Okay,
we
all
bought-
right,
we-
time out. Opening up a bank account for the future, and then your wife maybe took the money out. That's not abuse. That's just theft by your wife. Okay, so what you need to do, John, okay, is I don't know why this lawyer's calling your wife in. I don't understand. What you need to do is you got to move on. Your wife divorced you. You got to find another way to get a green card. It's not going to be through your wife. Hold on one second. You need a consultation. Hold on. All right. Belgium Kim, Yathan Yo-Yo Elias, we have a new way of doing things here.
Yes.
Let's go to some social media check-in. What do we got?
That's right.
All right, our first one comes from Chocolate Diva saying, "Hey, squad up, in NBC adjudicating I-751 cases now, or is it adjudicating?"
No, they're not.
Okay, joint I-751
The
petition.
National Benefits Center is different than the National Visa Center.
Okay,
What are they asking?
NBC.
NBC.
Yes.
Like
the Benefits Center.
National Benefits Center may adjudicate it. They could adjudicate it. It'll go through there. In the past, they used to adjudicate these cases, and if they didn't feel it was necessary for an interview, they would just approve it on the paperwork. But in my experience recently, they're scheduling everybody for interviews.
Okay, joint I-751 petition filed April of this year and got a letter October 2nd saying no biometrics needed. October 9th, the letter said transfer to NBC for faster processing. So
that means it was transferred to NBC for faster processing.
Okay.
That doesn't mean you're not going to get an interview.
Our second question comes from Real New Moon and was submitted on Instagram, where you can follow us at Bradshaw Live. My spouse wants a prenuptial agreement, while my marriage-based adjustment of status is still on review. What can I do, and what's the best advice?
Well, you already got married, so it would not be a prenuptial agreement. It would be a postnuptial agreement. And that has no effect on your immigration case. Whatever agreements you and your spouse make if the marriage were to break up has no basis on whether or not this is a bona fide marriage. There's lots of bona fide marriages that people have prenuptial agreements to protect themselves. God forbid the marriage doesn't work out.
All right, Sweet X asking for a friend. Her child's father took the child to U.S. and adjusted his status. However, he got a green card. He then sent the child back to Jamaica. How long can the child stay out of the U.S.? He's 12 years old. Now, the second question is, can the mother of the child send back the child to her aunt in the U.S.? Would she have to give her a letter stating the permission to be his guardian?
Yes, and the child shouldn't stay out now for more than 6 months. Now, generally, you don't lose your green card as a child for staying out more than 6 months, but because of these new affidavit of support law changes, where they're now going to request proof if you've stayed out of the country for more than 6 months, that you have adequate support. If you stay out of the United States for more than 6 months, it's possible they can ask you for affidavits of support at the airport, even though you already have a green card as a child. Come back within 6 months, let the aunt bring her back. Bring this child back, absolutely.
Okay, third question is, they're saying you might need the magic 8 ball for this, because they're asking for a friend still.
Right.
How long after you receive a message from USCIS saying your case is ready to schedule an interview, you think that it will actually schedule? Yeah, there you go.
It's the magic 8 ball. We have.
They knew
it could be literally 2 weeks to 2 years.
All right.
And Belgium Kid, one more before we go back to the lines.
One more from Layla, who said, my dad filed for me as a permanent resident, and my kids are following me to join. I received my green card, and their visas are also ready to issue. But my dad became a U.S. citizen in that time. Are they still legal on their green card?
Wait, I don't understand what?
So her dad filed for her as a permanent resident, and I believe the kids were on that. Her kids were on that filing. And now dad has become a U.S. citizen.
That has nothing to do with the kids becoming a U.S. citizen.
So one of the ones that she's only doing one of her kids, and he's 20 right now. Is he still good?
As long as it's under 21, yes.
Okay, and their priority date is in 98.
Yes, they should still be able to come.
Okay. Sorry, I've got one last one from. They said, would it be a problem if their visa was ready at the embassy if the DS-260 was paid? But I just want to make sure before I get the relevant documents submitted.
I don't know where you're at with the case. This is a following to join. You got to contact the U.S. Embassy for the child to follow to join. Before that child reaches 21, you're going to need all new affidavits of support and everything else. You can't rely on something that was done from years and years ago, because I assume the mother came and this child's been back home for years and years and years. You got to process the paperwork all over again. And the biggest issue is that you got to get it all done before this kid turns 21. So time is of the essence. It's moving. It's moving, folks. It's moving.
Tick tock, tick tock.
Tick tock, tick tock. Let's go to Mo Dupe in Baltimore, Maryland. Mo Dupe.
How you doing, sir?
How you doing?
Yeah, I love your show and I've been following you. Thank you so much for what you have been doing.
My pleasure.
Quick question. Yeah, quick question. I'm married to a citizen since year 2017.
Right.
He filed for me, then I filed for my 3 kids. We have gone for our green card interview for the past 11 months. We didn't hear nothing.
You went for an interview for 11 months and you haven't heard anything. Where are you from?
I'm from Nigeria.
You're from Nigeria. You know, we hear this from Nigerians a lot. It's like it's strange. We get calls from people from. One second, Mo Dupe.
I've known him since 2014.
Let me talk.
He has a GI problem.
Let me talk. I got it. Let me talk. We hear this from Nigerians all the time and people from Africa all the time. They go for interviews and then their case just nothing ever happens. What the law said.
But my husband is not from Nigeria.
But you are.
Yeah,
so
I'm from Nigeria.
They're looking at you. You're the one who needs the green card.
Okay, but I've been good. I've been doing everything
I know you're a good person. I know you're a good person. Okay? What happens is that with immigration now, especially with Trump, everybody is stereotyped, compartmentalized, depending on where in the world you come from. And we just get these calls every day. Africans, Nigerians, they go for interviews. People from Pakistan, the same thing. People from Middle East countries, the same thing. And they go for interviews. And nothing ever happens. So this is what you got. She just wants to talk over me.
No, I'm listening.
Okay, good.
Because the interview was too much because my husband got into problem with his DUI and he was in jail for like 1 year.
Okay.
So when he got out, that is we rescheduled like our interview like 3 times before we got at the last date in this January. And the funniest part of it is my 2 kids out of my 3 children, they're out of school since last week Friday. Because of their green card, they are unable to go to school no more.
All right, you ready for my answer now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What the law says is this. I hear you, Mo Dupe. I feel for you. Okay, but you got. Oh my God, she's going to talk over me again.
I'm not.
Okay, good. You have 3 choices in life, and this goes to everything. Okay, and I feel your pain. I hear you, okay? You got 3 choices in life. Choice 1 is to keep waiting, and you've been waiting 11 months and nothing good has happened. Choice 2 is to write immigration. Either you write them, your lawyer writes them, you go to your congressman or your senator, they write them. It all is the same thing. It's a letter, and they write you a letter back, and nothing happens. Or you file a mandamus, which is what we talk about all the time. If 120 days goes by and they haven't given you a decision, they're violating your rights. And a visa delayed is a visa denied. So hold on 1 second. All right? Let's go to Stacy in Coropolis, Pennsylvania. Stacy.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
So I'm good. How are you? Thank you for what you're doing for us here.
My pleasure.
My husband filed for my daughter, the I-130. She's in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
And the notice that I got says the I-130 is approved, and the notice indicates that she's in the U.S. I'm not sure what that means.
It means that somebody filled out the form wrong. Because if it was filled out properly, it would have said that your daughter's in Jamaica and that the case should have been transferred to the National Visa Center. Because it was approved and filled out that she's in the United States of America, you've now delayed your daughter 6-9 months because now you have to do an extra filing fees. Because now you have to file an I-824 to transfer the file from USCIS to the National Visa Center. And that takes a whole bunch of time too, unfortunately. So somebody filled out the forms wrong. Hold on one second. But that's what happened. Let's go to Rohan in Port St. Lucie, Florida. Rohan.
Yeah.
How are you?
Hello.
How are you?
Good. I appreciate everything that you do.
My pleasure.
I got two questions. It's my sister asked me to call because she called in Jamaica and it wasn't going through. So I'm in Florida. I'm calling for her. Two questions.
Right.
She have a B2 visa. She travel all the time. Also, her visa is getting expired. I think it's expired right now. It's expired right now, but she on a filing right now. Is it wise for her to apply for a B2 visa again while she on file because she like to travel?
What do you mean by she's on file? Who's filing for her?
Her mom filing for her.
Unfortunately,
her mom is a citizen.
Okay. Unfortunately for your sister, if mom already filed for her, she has shown an immigrant intent, which means that she has the intent of getting a green card and living in America. When she goes on for her visitor's visa, and there's going to be a question: has anyone ever filed for you? She has to tell the truth, because if she lies, it's going to come back and haunt her. And they're going to say they're going to catch her in a lie at some point, either at this time or when she actually applies for her green card. So she goes and tells the truth, and 99 out of 100 times they're going to say, sorry, we're not going to give you a visitor's visa. You have an immigrant intent. Now, she can try to go. Nothing bad will happen to her. The worst thing that'll happen is they'll just deny her. She's still going to be eligible for her green card. She just has to wait for it through her mom, unfortunately.
Okay, she's been waiting for a year and a half. But it's approved. They said it's at the visa center.
How old is she?
She's 32 right now.
And she's single, and mom's a citizen or a resident?
Citizen.
All right, so she has unfortunately about 4 more years of waiting. I doubt they'll give her a visitor's visa. She can try, but absolutely tell the truth, because if she lies, she's never going to get a green card. They're going to eventually catch her.
Yeah, she basically was saying if the visa center have it saying that they just waiting on a visa, and she travel all the time on her expired visa. Well, I mean, before it wasn't expired. She liked to travel because most of her family is here, brother, sister, and mom.
She can try. You're preaching to the choir. She can absolutely try. I doubt they'll give it to her, but she can absolutely try. Nothing bad will happen.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. All right, Belgium Kim, Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias, what do we got in social media? Quickly.
All right, we have one from Christ Mouthpiece saying, squad up. I have 2 questions for my legal...
Emeritus
Brad.
I don't even know what that means. But
legal
okay.
emeritus?
Legal emeritus.
Okay.
Okay. All right, first one. If you're out of status and married to an American, i.e. a citizen, and you have filed for adjustment of status legally speaking, aside being an immediate relative, what status is 1?
You're a pending adjustment of status.
Okay, and is it possible to renew one's driver's license once one had filed for adjustment of status?
As long as you have a work permit, yes.
DJ said, if an out-of-status immigrant marries a green card holder, what documents do they need to file, and will that immigrant get a work permit and a social security number?
No, they won't, because you're married to a green card holder. That's separate. That's different than being married to a U.S. citizen. Right now, you just file an I-130 and I-130A. And eventually, if that green card holder spouse never becomes a citizen and you're out of status here, you'll eventually have to do a provisional waiver, go home, and come back. If during this process your spouse becomes a citizen, you can upgrade the case, file an adjustment, and then get your work permit and travel.
Simone Brown saying, I got an update on the AOS. It says my case is ready to be scheduled for an interview. How much longer do you think I have to wait to get a date?
Only the Magic 8 Ball really knows the answer to that, anywhere from 2 weeks to 2 years.
Kamola said, don't forget to talk about Trump's new policy for all the embassies starting November 3rd.
I already did. Rewind about 30 minutes. And Belgium, Kim, Jonathan, Yo-Yo, Elias, why don't you tell everybody what to do before we get back to some more telephone calls.
Yes. All right, guys. Starting a watch party. This is our new thing that we're doing. You guys see how much it helps. All you have to do is click share, and you'll see start a watch party. It'll show you how many friends you have online. I have to give a big shout out to Sandra Salinas. I know everybody else has been starting a watch party, but Sandra Salinas got 10 of her friends to start a watch party.
Wow, she's
and
cool.
they are hooking up. They're doing it in Spanish as well. They're like hooking it up. So I love that. So get your friends to start a watch party as well. You guys saw how it literally went from 140 to over 3,000. So this is all because of you. You guys have the power in your hands. So this is what you have to do. Start a watch party. Click that share. Start a watch party.
And Belgium King quickly on YouTube.
Make sure to copy that link and send it to all of your friends. And of course, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that little bell so you know exactly when we go live. Here are more answers.
All right, let's go to Isaac in Houston, Texas. Isaac.
Yes, how are you, Ben?
Isaac.
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
Yes, I'm fine. I just wanted to ask you, I applied my asylum, and then it was denied, and then we had to appeal. So when we appealed...
what did you apply for?
Asylum.
Asylum, okay.
Yep.
Now, so you don't really appeal
Hello?
asylum. Let me understand
Yes.
what you did. You filed for
Yes.
asylum, it got denied, it gets referred to an immigration judge. You lost before an immigration judge, and now you're appealing the immigration judge's decision. Is that what happened?
No, 1 minute. When I applied, and then it was denied, then after...
You went to an immigration judge.
Yes, we went. Yes, I saw the judge.
Right, and then you lost that, and now you're appealing the judge's decision.
Yeah, and then we appealed. So after.
So 1 second, let me just tell you where you're at. You were in deportation, you lost, you were ordered deported, you're on appeal. Now your question is what?
My question is that when we appealed, and then they brought the documents back to my lawyer, and then my lawyer had to do some. He said that he had to write his decision about like motion, something like that. So then after when he sent it, after 1 month, they renewed my workers permit. So I have my workers permit is renewed. So I don't know what's the next right now. I don't know how long I'm gonna take to approve my appeal.
You're most likely going to be denied. You have to understand something, Isaac. Okay, you were in deportation. You applied for asylum. Okay, you have to get a sense of reality now. You were in deportation. Government wants you out of the country. Get out, Isaac. We don't want you. You filed for asylum. Don't send me. My life's in danger if I leave America. And the judge said to you, BS, it ain't. We're going to order you deported anyway. And your lawyer appealed to the Board of Immigration Appeals and said the judge's decision is wrong. 9 out of 10 times you lose that appeal. I don't know what your case was about. I don't know where you're from. I don't know if you had a credible claim for asylum. I don't know what your lawyer did. Let me finish my sentence now. Let me finish.
I didn't appeal. I didn't. I'm on appeal right now. My appeal is still going on. I just want to know what's the next with my appeal.
You're going to either win your appeal and then you go back to a judge for a new hearing, or you get ordered deported and the government comes and arrests you and throws you out of the country.
Okay.
You got a big problem.
So,
I don't. You're asking me when do I win? The odds are you lose. I just have to be frank with you. You need to get a sense of reality and figure out what other option is. It's like you're waiting for the guillotine to come down on your neck. Hold on 1 second. Let's go to Antonio in Keene, Nebraska. Antonio. Antonio.
Hey, Brad.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, hey, Brad.
What's going on?
I'm calling you from Nebraska. I got my green card back in 2012.
Yes.
Through my wife. She's a U.S. citizen. And just last year, I was charged with, it's called intimidation by telephone. And that's a class 3 misdemeanor with a Maximum sentence of 3 months.
Intimidation by telephone.
Yep.
And it's a class whatever misdemeanor with a maximum sentence of 3 months.
Yeah, it's a class 3 misdemeanor with a maximum sentence of 3 months or $500.
Okay.
And my green card expires, I think, in 2 years. And I want to know if is this considered a crime of moral turpitude?
No,
or
if the facts that you tell me, it's not a crime of moral turpitude, because by definition, a crime of moral turpitude has to be something that you're convicted of with a bad mind, where the maximum sentence is more than 3 months in jail. So if the maximum sentence is 3 months or less, it can't be a crime of moral turpitude.
Okay, with the same arrest, they also charged me with disturbing the peace and possession of paraphernalia, but both of those charges were dismissed
Then you were not found guilty of anything other than the yelling on the telephone or whatever you did.
And if I go out of the country, would I have any problems coming back?
Not based on what you told me, but to me, I would not travel with any conviction unless you show the disposition to the lawyer.
Okay, all right. And is there any way that I can make a...
Yeah, hold on 1 second. I know what he wanted. An appointment. Yeah. All right, let's go to Del Rica, all the way in Antigua. Del Rica.
Hi.
Hi, Del Rica.
Hello.
How are you? How's Antigua?
I'm fine, thank you.
What's going on?
I'm good. And now you know that your show is international, because I'm here in Antigua, 365 beaches. So say hi to everybody in Antigua that's watching.
She's in Antigua, and she's saying the show is international, and there's lots of people in Antigua watching, and she is saying hello to everybody in Antigua.
Del Rica, start a watch party for all of your Antiguan friends to join us too.
And I'm in the process of doing that because we have people over here that want green cards too.
All right.
But anyway, let me ask my question. I have a question. So on the 30th of September, right? My I-130 was approved after 6 years and a whole lot of months.
Oh my gosh.
But anyway, now
I
I realized that on the visa bulletin that I've passed my priority date. What happens next?
You should be eligible for
and my case is not yet at the NBC because they said they have not received it yet.
How long has it been since it's been approved?
Since the 30th of September, 2019.
Okay, so just like 3 weeks ago. It takes about 8 weeks to get to the National Visa Center. Who filed for you, mom or dad, I guess?
My dad, yes.
Okay. All right, so it takes about 8 weeks to get to the National Visa Center, so you should hear from the National Visa Center by the end of November. If your dad wants you to get here as quickly as possible, I would suggest that he hire a good lawyer. Other than that, we were just having a conversation with all the attorneys because of the changes in the affidavit of support laws, and we were saying that so many people without good lawyers are going to get denied now because there's this positive and negative test, and you have to have more positive things than negative things. It's not just fill out a form and submit a tax return anymore. It's actually a complicated process. Assuming you do everything right, and assuming you hear from the National Visa Center by the end of November, hopefully you'll be here by spring or summer.
But what about my priority date?
Don't worry that it's passed. You're still eligible for the green card.
But I read something that they were saying that it's something after a year.
No.
Because,
in other words, what the law says is if the National Visa Center sends you documentation and you don't do anything after a year, they have the right to terminate your case. But it has nothing to, as long as you're past the priority date. I've processed people who were 10 years past their priority date because they just woke up and said, I want to get a green card now. So that has nothing, don't worry about that.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Say
You're
hi
very
to
welcome.
everybody in Antigua because everybody in my house is listening right now.
Hello, Antigua. Belgium caveat the yo-yo. Say hello
What's
to
up,
Antigua.
I've always wanted to go out there.
I've been to Antigua.
I'm sure you have.
We have 365 beaches and a whole lot of sun.
I want to come out there.
65 beaches and a whole lot of sun, you say? I'm already there.
Include Jonathan in that.
I was at a very fancy hotel in Antigua about 10 years ago called Jumbie Bay. right?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
That's over on
Yeah.
Long Island.
Right, yeah, it's on a separate island. We had to take a boat over. I remember. But that's the only time I've been in
Yes,
Antigua.
I was actually just there today.
Oh, really?
Oh, what?
Right.
Yes.
See?
Huh.
So we're going to hit you up.
She was getting our rooms ready.
We're on our way.
Anybody, but I'm a chef.
What'd she say?
Don't tell anybody, but
She's
I'm
a
a
chef
chef.
there.
So when you get to the island, hook
And
me up.
baby boy
and
likes
I'll
to eat.
get you guys some good island food.
You got some guest bedrooms? So here we go.
Yes. Listen, I got you covered. Don't worry about it.
All right, Delrica, thanks for calling.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Meanwhile, in this edition of Spar and Bernstein Attorney Close Up, we're going to hear about one of the most memorable cases one of our associates, immigration attorneys, Jonathan F. Talon and Jamila Luke, have had. Let's watch.
I would say my most memorable case was an emergency removal proceedings case. The client had 3 marijuana convictions and he was going to get deported in 1 month was his next court hearing. We did an emergency 440 motion to vacate those prior convictions, got him taken out of ICE detention and brought in front of criminal court, got all 3 vacated, 2 of them dismissed outright, and 1 of them repled to an immigration safe plea and took it back to the court literally. I got the order that morning and then took it back to court in the afternoon, the day that he was going to be deported. So it was a very stressful month dealing with his mother back and forth. She still calls me all the time, so we were able to make a good friend out of it too. But I'd say that was my most memorable case because I was able to take someone who was about to be taken away from his family and allowed him to remain here in the US. He's been living here since the 90s. He didn't really know about his home country. He's in his late 20s and he's the only one in his family that works, that supports. His brother has schizophrenia, so he really was the financial and emotional provider for his family. And we were able to keep him here.
One of my most memorable cases was this gentleman that I had the pleasure of representing a couple years back. He was a hardworking father of 2. He was a husband, and he came to this country legally back in many years ago. 30 years after he's been here with his green card, he ran into some problems at home and was arrested on a misdemeanor charge. And even though it was a misdemeanor charge and it got resolved, it ended up having really bad immigration consequences, in which case he was considered an aggravated felon for immigration purposes, even though it was just a misdemeanor. They also, the government that is, also considered him a mandatory detainee, so they would not release him on bond. So I had my work cut out for me, but thankfully with that case, with his cooperation, we were able to work very hard and I was able to get him released from the clutches of deportation in a record time and taken back home with his family. So he was pretty happy about that. The family was pretty happy about that. And it was a very proud moment to see everything work out so quickly for him.
The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future.
Okay, family, this is your one reminder of the last 5 reminders to start a watch party right now because Brad's about to start answering your immigration questions again. So make sure to hit that share button, hit start watch party. You're going to be king or queen of your comment castle, telling all of your people why Bradshaw Live is the absolute best. Convince them, just like Sandra Salinas, to start their own watch parties because this is the only place all of your friends are going to get their immigration questions answered. Back to Brad for getting answers to your immigration questions.
All right, let's go to Bernice in West Haven, Connecticut. Bernice.
Hi.
Hi, Bernice.
Hi. I have 2 questions.
Yes.
The first one is, my husband have an interview in Ghana coming up in November 1st, but we found out last week that his passport, they didn't arrange his name well they got the middle name as his last name. So we wrote to the passport office, and they rectified the problem and gave him a new passport.
Okay.
But I want to know if it's going to cause any problem for him.
No, you got it all fixed. As long as his passport matches the name on his birth certificate, matches the name on the marriage certificate, you should be all okay.
Oh, okay. And my second question is,
yes,
now that he's going for the interview on November 1st, is he going to be affected with a health insurance policy?
On November 1st? No, because it goes into effect November 3rd.
Okay.
You got it by 2 days. Congratulations.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go to Erica in Brooklyn, New York. Erica.
Yes. Hi. Good evening.
Good evening.
I have two separate questions.
Yes.
The first one is I have a cousin that lives in Brooklyn that came here on her sister's birth paper, and she got married to a military man, but now they're saying that she can't do anything. She can't get a green card, nothing.
Birth paper? Well, where was her sister born?
Jamaica.
Okay. So she came on a birth paper or a passport?
Birth paper.
What do you mean she
It was in a time when you could have come here on someone's birth paper.
How old was she at the time? How old was she at the time?
I don't really know.
She had to have been a kid or a baby, because you were able to.
Nanny, how old were you?
You were able to come on a birth paper as a baby
She was
or a child.
14.
Yeah, as a baby or a child.
She said she was 14.
Right,
Mhm.
as a baby or a child accompanying a parent, you were able to submit a birth paper. That was like 30 years ago. Now, she's married to someone in the military. She made a fraudulent entry. It was done as a 14-year-old. You can't hold fraud against a 14-year-old. She doesn't have a legal entry
Right.
into America, but being married to someone in the military, you can get something called parole in place, which is an
Right.
entry document. That's really not an entry document, but you get it because you're married to someone in the military who's serving the United States of America. They give that benefit to the spouses, and you can use that parole in place to adjust your status. So whoever she spoke with gave her terrible advice.
Very wrong.
She has
I
no
know it.
misrepresentation. It was as a 14-year-old. She's married to someone in the military. You get parole in place. You adjust your status. She gets a green card. Mazel tov to both Erica and the sister. Hold on 1 second. Let's go to Nordine in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Nordine.
Hi. When I go for immigration for the interview, will it affect me if I didn't mention that I was on a filing? I only mentioned that I was on my mother's filing, but then I got kicked off when I turned 21.
Well, you should have, that you were a derivative beneficiary on your mother's case. I don't really think that's going to make a difference on whether you get a green card or not through a new case. But yeah, you should have mentioned it. But I don't think it's, the crime of the century.
Oh, okay. All right.
So don't worry.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Let's go to Bianca in Brooklyn. Bianca.
Hi, so I have a
How are you?
question. I'm doing fine. So my question is, my husband's being detained in ICE for a visa overstay, but they didn't release him on bail because he had pending warrants for menacing and possession of a weapon, and the menacing was in the third.
But so then they're transferring him back to whatever criminal state court
Right.
for their.
No, they're not even doing that. So right now we're appealing with the BIA, but is it possible for him to still make bail with the habeas corpus? Am I saying that right?
Yes. That immigration could only hold somebody if they have a criminal conviction or they scared they may not return back to court. So yes, I would file a habeas corpus, and you can come see us. Hold on 1 second. Let's go to Cynthia in Snellville, Georgia. Cynthia.
Hello?
Hi, Cynthia.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
My mother filed for me a couple years ago, but I'm over 21.
Mm-hmm.
But in between the filing, she died.
Oh.
So I am at a crossroads. I don't know what should I do now.
All right, let's go back a second. Mom was a citizen or a resident?
Yes.
What is yes? That was not a yes or no question. Mom was a citizen.
Oh, what did you say?
I
I
said,
missed the
was
question.
mom a citizen or a resident?
A resident.
Okay. And she filed for you. You've been single this whole time, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And when did you come to the United States of America?
About, let me see, how long? Probably about 20 years ago.
And when did Mom file for you?
And back in Trinidad, she filed.
When? What year?
Oh, about 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you were in the United States when Mom filed for you because you've been here for 20 years, and Mom passed away while you were in the United States, correct?
Yes.
Do you have other family here in the United States?
Yes.
What family do you have?
A sister.
Okay. So your sister can step into the shoes of your mother, complete the case, and you can adjust your status here under something called Section 204L.
Okay.
All right. So hold on one second. We can help you, okay? Because 204L applies if Mom filed for you, you were in the United States, and while you are in the United States, she passed away. While you're physically here, you can have another close family member step in and complete the case. So hold on 1 second, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. With that being said, we're going to get back to some more social media questions in a few minutes.
Right.
But many people do not realize that an undocumented person who has been injured while working on a construction site has the same rights to compensation as a United States citizen. Today I'm speaking with Spar and Bernstein's personal injury attorney and partner Moshe the Bulldozer Baruch about what to do if you're an undocumented construction worker injured on the job. Let's watch. Every year, 10% of construction workers throughout the United States of America get injured on the job. According to the Census of Fatal Occupational Injuries in 2017 alone, 5,147 construction workers died on the job. When an accident leaves a construction worker incapacitated, they and their families lose the financial security they once had. A good attorney is needed to make sure that the injured parties are compensated to the highest level, because most of the time, they will never be able to work again. And there is one bite of the apple when it comes to fighting for compensation in a courtroom. With me to discuss what to do if you or a loved one is involved in a job construction accident is Spar and Bernstein's very own personal injury attorney, partner, Moshe the Bulldozer Baruch. Moshe, how are you?
Good to be here.
So Moshe, we've talked about in the past how important it is to use your cell phone as part of your case to prepare yourself for your case. God forbid you're in a construction accident. You use your cell phone to call an ambulance so they can document where the accident happened. You use your cell phone to take pictures. Let me ask you a question. There are people out there who may be U.S. citizens or lawful permanent residents who are getting paid cash. They're working off the books. Or people who are undocumented working off the books. How is using a cell phone going to help these people, and why is it even more important for people who are off the books or who are undocumented and are working to use their cell phone, God forbid they're injured in an accident?
So an undocumented person has the exact same rights as a legal citizen here in the United States of America. Although it's more difficult to prove as an undocumented person that you were hired by an employer, for example. And so when you have a video, when you have a phone, which is the most effective weapon you have with you when you get injured in a construction accident, you take out the phone and start videotaping everything around you. If you can, you'll show that you're in the construction site, you're working there, and if something fell, for example, a ladder or a scaffold, you have evidence of that. And so there's no dispute that you were hired by somebody to work.
The biggest defense, one of the biggest defenses, the number one defense for people who don't have a record of being at that construction site because their colleagues drove them to the hospital, or because they were undocumented and didn't have, and were not on payroll, or American citizens are not on payroll, is the number one defense is, this person doesn't work for us. What are you talking about? So you need to document that you were hired and you were physically there on this job site at the moment this accident happened. That's what Moshe is saying.
Exactly. One of the first hurdles you have to overcome in a labor law construction accident case is you have to prove that you were hired by somebody or an organization to work at this specific construction site. And if you're getting paid in cash, a lot of people assume that, well, if I'm getting paid cash, then I can't prove that I was hired by somebody. That is incorrect. If you have good lawyers, we can make sure that we can prove that you were hired by somebody. And we do that by using this very simple
let me just make this clear. And Moshe, correct me if I'm wrong. If you're getting paid off the books or you're undocumented, does that make your case any less worthwhile? Should you be scared to walk into a courtroom?
Absolutely not. If you have good lawyers, you'll never have to worry about that. A lot of people lie and they say if you're an undocumented person, you should not make a claim, for example, for workers' compensation benefits. That is the falsest thing I have heard when it comes to a personal injury case in a construction accident.
And now people may say, well, I don't want to get deported. What do you say about that?
If you have our lawyers here at Spar and Bernstein, in addition to the personal injury lawyers here, we have your department, the immigration department, and we will make sure that that never happens.
I can assure you that if you get injured in an accident, you're not going to get deported.
It'll never happen.
I can assure you that. It's not going to happen. Moshe, tell us about a situation if you had somebody who was undocumented or somebody who was a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident working off the books. They didn't have a record of employment. Tell us about how you represented them, and hopefully you have a good success story to tell us about.
Absolutely. We had a case where a person just came to the United States. He was undocumented. He was terrified of making a claim for personal injuries when he was involved in a construction
Where was he
accident.
from?
He was from Jamaica. And what happened was he was hesitant to come to us because he was afraid that he might get deported. He was afraid that his employer might call ICE or what have you. And so when he came to us, I think I even introduced him to you, and you took care of his immigration matter.
And he got injured on the job.
He did. He got injured on the job. The defendants, when we filed a lawsuit, said, well, because he's an undocumented person, he wasn't able to make a claim for lost wages in the future because he couldn't prove that he was being paid by his employer. But because of us, because of the great personal injury lawyers we have here at Spar and Bernstein, we convinced the judge that that's nonsense. We successfully got him any back pay that he was entitled to.
Well, that's an amazing job. And God forbid you or anybody is injured in an accident, you need really good attorneys to represent you. You only have one shot to make all of your income. If you think about it, you get injured in an accident when you're 40 years old. You have 30 years of employment. Say you're making $50,000 a year. That's $1.5 million in lost wages, plus inflation, plus your medical bills and everything else. It adds up very fast to millions and millions and millions of dollars. And God forbid you get into an accident, and even more, God forbid, you hire the wrong attorney. You only have one shot at getting the most money you can. So please save our telephone number. It's 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. God forbid you or anyone you know gets into an accident, make sure they call us right away. And as you just learned from Moshe, whether you're documented, you're undocumented, you're on the books, you're off the books. If you get hurt on the job, you have a case, but you got to document it with your phone. And then you got to call your lawyer, Moshe the Bulldozer. Moshe, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Brett.
And we'll see you soon. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future.
Okay, there you guys go. And now for our last time, we are going to tell you guys watch party. We need you guys to start this watch party because we are going to do another segment. So what you do to start a watch party is click share, and then right under it, it says start a watch party. It literally sends a notification to your entire friends list. And I want you guys to do what everybody else has been doing. Tag them into the comments, the main comments as well. Introduce them to the Brad Squad. Start a watch party right now. And what are we going to do next, Kimmy?
Next up, we're going to be answering all your questions that you asked during our social media check-in. Our first question.
Oh, okay. Oh, we don't have a social media check-in.
I don't know. And then we wanted to do
I thought it was going to be a social media check-in.
But we had a cute one. Did you see that? Did you see
That's
it?
a cute one, but I thought we were getting the big one.
The full one.
Yeah, come to me a second. Now I got to do a segment that we like to call social media. There we go. I'm able to do it.
Yeah. Oh, it's voice control.
I'm able to do it.
Just like your own Alexa.
That's right.
Our first question comes from Kelly Desire, who said, I overstayed my visa and got a 3-year bar. It's now been 20 years, no jail time, and I was sent back on a flight. My U.S. citizen child wishes to petition for me. Am I going to have any problems?
Yes, because it sounds like you got deported at the airport. So not only did you have a 3-year bar, but it sounds like you got deported on an airport if you got sent home. So you need to talk to me first and you're going to need to do a 212 waiver to return if that's in fact the case.
Ali says, I did file petitions for my parents last year, November 21st. I got my receipt notice, but not approved yet. What's going on?
Donald Trump is what's going on. If it's been more than 12 months, it's mandamus time.
Simone said, are they still doing last in, first out?
That looks it.
Stacy says, if you sent the I-130 prior to 10/15 and it was received, relative is outside of the U.S., are they subject to public charge?
They're subject to the new public charge rules, correct.
Sammy said, I currently have a pending I-360 and my son who lives in Jamaica and is under 21. Would he qualify for a K-4 visa, though he is listed as a derivative beneficiary? My sister stays with him, but she's too busy and would like to have him here while I await my decision.
No, you have to get the VAWA case approved, and then he would be a derivative to follow to join.
Evan says, my husband got his citizenship today. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I'm here on an F1 visa, but didn't enroll in school for August semester. How can and will I know if I'm out of status? He'll be sending in the I-130 for me this week.
You're not out of status, but you should be filing an I-130 and an adjustment, not just an I-130.
Char Orr said, my friend received a letter for immigration for court. Do you think she should attend given that she's filed for hardship?
Yes.
Ayanda is saying, does public charge affect those with 2-year conditional green cards when filing to remove the conditions?
What was the question?
Does public charge affect those?
No, there's no public charge on removing conditions.
Drew Barry said, does checking your case status online frequently bad? Do they check how many times you check?
No, you can check to your heart's content.
You can be as impatient as you want. Okay.
All right, and our last one for now is Keem saying, how can I cover my wife with insurance when her interview is on the 6th and the my employer health enrollment is on the 4th? Can I send an email promising she'll get insured and use the affidavit?
Just get a letter from your employer saying that she will be included when she's eligible to get health insurance as a spouse of you, and you're an employee of the company.
Awesome.
All right, so in 2016, the American Community Survey reported that 380,785 United States residents have their roots in Nigeria, and that New York is in fact the 3rd largest Nigerian population of the 50 states. Do you know what the first two are, Jonathan?
Nigeria and
the
United States. Texas.
Yes.
And I would have to guess California.
Maryland.
Ooh,
Texas
wow.
1, Maryland 2.
Did not know
that. New York 3.
Oh, wow.
Nigeria 4. No, Nigeria obviously. Now, Nigerian Independence Day falls on October 1st, and Jonathan went to the New York City parade celebrating the holiday. He says he had a blast. Let's watch.
What's up, Brad Squad? It's your boy Jonathan Elias, and I'm here at the Nigerian Independence Day Parade right here in New York City. Now, on October 1st, 1960, Nigeria won its independence from Great Britain, and they celebrate Nigeria style. If you know anything about Nigerian culture, it is very big. Every year, Nigeria's 36 states celebrates right here in New York City, and it's the biggest Independence Day bash outside of Nigeria. I'm super excited to be here because 1, my dad is Nigerian, and 2, because this is my very first Nigerian Independence Day parade, and you guys are gonna get to celebrate with me. Let's go. All right, what's up, y'all? Represent, let me see the flag. So what are you guys here doing today?
We're here to support and show our Nigerian people love. This is a beautiful thing that they do every year. We're here to join in.
Why is it important to represent for your culture?
Representation is key, and when you show up and you show out, you gotta support your community.
All right, hold on 1 second with this music. Hey. All right, I want to know what's a misconception about Nigerians?
That we're all scammers.
So what is something that you want to tell the people out there about Nigerians? Something that they might not know?
Nigerians are the highest educated immigrants in the United States. So everywhere we go, we build up the economy.
Nigerians are a diverse people. We have so much culture, and everything about us is beautiful.
Amazing. So what do you guys feel about President Trump's rhetoric towards immigrants, especially African countries?
Honestly, it's not surprising to me. Growing up African, you hear these types of things, and I feel like he's just a manifestation of what the West has been feeling towards Africans in general. So it's disgusting, but it's just an echo of what Europe's been doing.
Honestly, it does touch on how there's so much like backlash towards African culture. Is disappointing that, you know, America is really showing exactly how they feel towards people that are different from them. We're still gonna stand strong as African people and band together because we are the future.
What's your guys' immigration story?
We were actually born in Atlanta, but our parents immigrated. They basically came to, you know, pursue schooling but secure better lives because there wasn't a lot of opportunities. And we're just grateful that they've actually been able to achieve it because we have had family members who've been deported. So just that our immediate family is able to stay here, we do appreciate it.
All right, Niger, stand up. Woo! What does Niger mean to you?
It's culture, it's beauty, it's good food, it's wonderful people, it's love, it's everything.
Niger to me is strength, it's power. Niger has built so much, Niger has influenced so much, so, you know, it's magic. That's what it is.
I love it. I love the pride. I love it. I love it. All right, how y'all doing today?
We well.
Nigerian baddies.
Yes.
So why are you guys here today?
To celebrate. Honestly, Nigeria is lit. We need to raise awareness, and this is Nigeria. We are lit. We are vibrant people, and we're just gonna continue to showcase that. So.
This is Nigerian Independence.
Hey!
Celebrate your life. Here we go. Y'all didn't see you. What's good, baby?
That's my voice. It's all love. So why is it important to represent for your culture, especially out here in the States?
Because I feel like, especially for people who have come from Nigeria, from home, I feel like they might forget about their culture, you know, trying to like fit in with everybody. But I feel like events like this makes everybody come together and enjoy one another so they don't forget about where they came from.
Exactly. What's a misconception about Nigerians?
We scammers. 419. We're too strong. Like, we'll come at you hard.
Yeah.
But it's because we have a lot of passion, whatever we do.
So what do you want them to know about Nigerians? Something that they might not know.
Nigerians, we are together. Sometimes it might take a few events, but we are together. If we could do something like this in New York often, we could bring it back to Nigeria. So, Nigerian vibes.
Absolutely. So what are your feelings towards the Trump administration's rhetoric towards immigrants, especially African countries?
We're not speaking on Trump. Yeah. We ain't got no words for him. Or he just gotta go. He gotta go. That's it. I don't know why immigration is a topic, really, because America is of immigrants. It's supposed to be a diverse place, a place where people are supposed to come to create a new life, especially for their kids and stuff like that. And he's making it so hard for people to do that. Right. He just gotta go.
Right. So I want to know, what does Niger mean to you?
Life, family, enjoyment, food, everything.
How you guys doing today?
Good.
Doing great. I see you guys are teaching her young, huh?
Want to get her to exposed as much as possible.
I love it. So why is it important to come and support the Nigerian culture?
I feel like it's important to keep it within the family. My parents migrated here years ago. Just never want to forget that, you know, and then also celebrate the independence, you know, from Great Britain as well.
Yeah. And what does this all mean to you? Bring in your family, you're expecting, you know, baby is feeling the drums. So what does it mean to you as a mother and a wife?
I think it's super important just to get her into what's going on now, because obviously we come from two totally different cultures, but making it seem like she's not such an outcast to everyone, that yeah, she's mixed, but she knows her Nigerian roots, she knows her Bengali roots, same thing with the baby coming. So it's super important to just expose them as much as possible, I think.
I totally agree. So I do want to know, what does Niger mean to you?
I would say unity. The fact that there's so much different tribes, even though Nigeria is just one country, there's so many different tribes, different language, we can all come together and represent as Niger. Yeah. Unity.
My American dream is to give everything that I had growing up to my daughter and my future son, and giving them 10 times more than I'll ever have.
I love it. And how about you?
My American dream is to continue to pass on the culture, the beliefs, the you know, everything my parents taught me down to my kids, and they can bring it down to their kids, and we just keep it going.
What's your American dream, baby? Thank you, guys. What's up, brother?
Yeah, I'm good.
What are you, the Niger superhero, huh?
You know, I've been called the Nigerian Spider-Man, but I'm just me. I'm just doing me.
I love it. You representing. I see you representing with the colors. Now, what does it mean to represent for your culture out here?
I mean, all it really means is being you, because there's no specific thing that defines being Nigerian. It's just whatever you define it as, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're born in Nigeria, your parents are born in Nigeria, whatever makes you Nigerian, you're Nigerian, and you just do you.
There you go. So why is it so important to celebrate and represent for your culture in New York City?
It's important because it's a part of who you are, and then you can't ever forget where you come from. You know, you always gotta like pay it forward and give back, you know what I'm saying? That's why we do stuff like this.
All right, I wanna know, what does Niger mean to you?
Yeah. Niger means extra, it means loud, it means dope, it means fun, it means lit, it means successful, smart. Like when I think of Niger, that's what comes to mind.
Exactly. I want to know, what's a misconception we have as Nigerians?
A misconception is that Nigerians are corrupt or Nigerians are bad or 419, because a lot of us, we really just be successful doing our thing and hustling. But you know, like if you define a people by the worst kinds, that's how you get like that stereotype. We're really like any other group of people, you know what I'm saying? We're approachable, we're humble, we're just cool people.
I want to know, what are your thoughts on Trump's rhetoric towards immigrants, especially immigrants from Africa?
Nah, he's tripping. He wilded. Like, I feel like he doesn't know what he's saying when it comes to that. That's all.
Good looking, bro. Well, there you have it, a day full of fun and rich culture, the Nigerian Independence Day Parade. I had so much fun. I thank you guys so much for sending me here. One, because I got to celebrate my culture with my people, but it was so much love, and I hope that you guys felt it through the TV. Back to the studio.
And you know what? Jonathan just told me there was how many? This was Ethiopia or Nigeria?
In Ethiopia, there are 83 languages, and in Nigeria,
probably just as
there
many.
are 520 languages.
Right, 500.
spoken.
That's amazing. How many different, you know, I guess, what would you call them? What do you call the different
groups, tribes,
tribes,
I don't know. Right? It's amazing.
Yeah. So
it's amazing. And you think Nigerian's Nigerian, right?
Yeah. No, there are different tribes.
No. I learned something. I didn't even know that myself.
520 languages in Nigeria.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And for those of you who did not get your immigration questions answered today, we are going to be going to our speed rounds in about 45 seconds or so. I do have to remind everybody that we have Instagram pages as well. You can follow me on @RealBradBernstein. If you are part of the Brad Squad, and I believe Belgium Kim told you how to become part of the Brad Squad earlier by joining our Facebook page group, Brad Squad, and you are part of the Brad Squad, and I know who you are because you comment, I will be more than happy to try to answer your questions on my Instagram. Just send me a DM @RealBradBernstein. You can also follow Brad Show Live on Instagram and see the best of our content from the night before, as well as a lot of our produced pieces, including this piece on Nigeria. I'm sure will be up very, very shortly. And Belgium Kim and Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias.
You can find me at Travel Queen Kim and find out all of the fun things I've been up to lately.
Yes, and you guys can follow me at Jonathan Elias TV.
All right, we're going to do something we like to call the speed round, where I have to answer 15 questions in under 2 minutes, or we just blow the hell up everything in this studio. Everything is just blown to smithereens.
Don't want that.
Right. We don't want to blow stuff up, right?
No, we don't.
All right, let's go. You ready?
Ready. Cher said, if someone filed documents 6 months ago and did not do advance parole, could they apply for it now?
Yes.
Guinevere says, if someone has a green card already and needs to renew in a few years, will the new October 15 rule apply to them?
No.
Marlon said, how long should it take to get a new date if it's been rescheduled for the Mount Laurel office?
Anywhere from a day to 3 years.
Tamika says, if USCIS received I-485 in July 2018, EAD card and SSN already received almost a year, how soon should that person expect an interview?
Any day.
AJ said, is it safe to travel and come back to the U.S. with a 2-year green card and no criminal record?
It certainly is.
Lena says, do you still have to do an interview on your I-750 I-175 form?
The answer is yes.
Papoy said, can I do a repeat J1 under a different sponsor after my program ends next year?
Yes.
Ayan says, can I travel outside the country after I file my N400 application?
Yes.
Olua Basu said, I got my green card approved. Questions are, how long will it take for me to file for my 25-year-old daughter?
7 years.
Lean says, I'm still waiting for my letter from USCIS. My I-485 interview haven't changed September 4th to present. Should I call USCIS? This is normal because it's been
don't call them.
141
You'll get
days.
nowhere, but you can wait anywhere from 6 months to 3 years for an interview.
Maria said, is NVC backed up? It's been more than a month since I submitted the civil docs and my priority date is current.
Yes, it's a disaster.
DJ says, I'm living and working overseas and I'm a U.S. citizen. Am I going to be able to apply for a green card for someone?
If you are a citizen, yes.
Elizabeth said, can green card holder file for her son if he's in Jamaica?
Yes.
Noreen says, is bankruptcy hurt citizenship?
No.
Francis says, what is an I-360 form?
That's a special immigrant form for a religious worker, a VAWA case, and some other special immigrant visas as well. Thank you very much, everybody. This is just too easy. Belgium Kim, Young Yo-Yo Alias, fabulous job. Let's get to comments of the day. What are the comments of the day?
I didn't sweat at all.
That is amazing. No, I wasn't even worried.
I think Julie the TriCaster guy is still upset that I suggested that he is the biggest threat to world peace earlier today. He's not talking to me right now. But what are the comments of the day?
All right, our first comment of the day comes from Hoonie Cousins saying, I was so mad I missed the show yesterday, but I watched the replay and I'm in the building today. Let's go.
Hey, you were so close. Our second is from Ola Tunde, who said, I salute the trio for effective and informative service being rendered without holding back.
Olatunde, I salute you.
We salute you.
Will you please salute Olatunde as well?
Yeah, the trio salutes Olatunde.
All right.
That's my night job brother. You can already tell Olatunde. I know that.
Yeah.
All right, our third one comes from Cher Rebley saying, I didn't know anything about American politics until I started watching this show. Thank you, Brad.
All right. It's actually good that we educate as many people as we can.
That's very true.
Right.
Lady Gaza TK said, thank God for this show. I wasn't having a good day, but tuning into the show makes me feel so much better. It's like when I have a headache and I take a leave. Well, this show is my medication. Thank you, Brad. Thanks, the squad.
Wow.
Appreciates you so very much.
Thank you. That is great. I'm so glad we bring joy to people as well.
All right, and we have one from Charmaine Wallace saying, my Brad, you're an angel, you're helping the world, your mom and dad must be blessed having you. Blessings, Brad, you helped me after 30 years.
Woo! I really hope Mom is watching.
Yeah.
Sometimes she says, my son. All right, Belgium Kim.
And our final two comments for the day. Our first one was from Dave on YouTube, who said he really liked the show format today because we switched it up. And Annie totally agreed with him and said this show is so much better now. Plus, Uncle Brad has time to sip his coffee.
That's right. All right, so we like this format, right? Keeping it for tomorrow.
I enjoyed it.
I thought this was fun. We kept it peppy.
All right, we're going to keep
going.
this format for tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. It's hump day tomorrow. We'll see you all. Have a great night. 5:30-ish tomorrow. Take care. So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. 529-5465, and now conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465, 1-800-LAW-LINK, 1-800-529-5465. What are you doing?